now that we can check off tasks and add tasks and read tasks, we're on to the very last thing we have to implement, which is how can we allow users to be able to delete tasks from the app? And I want to be able to do that when a user simply touches and holds a particular item. And as long as they've held it long enough, so a long touch, then I want that item to delete off the list. So we know that our task is being provided right at the top of our widget tree. And we know that that interaction is also being detected inside our task tile, so low down in the tree. How can we use what we know and what we've seen in the last lesson to be able to delete that task out of our task list? So in this case, that behavior is going to be detected right at the bottom of the tree in the task tile. And then it has to be able to take that information and give it over to the task list so that it's able to update the task data and remove that task that the user selected. And then that information needs to filter through the tree for all the interested parties, namely the task screen and the task list. I recommend giving this one a go and try to implement that functionality and deleting that very item where the long tab is detected. And if you get stuck along the way, just use Stack Overflow or search through Google and overcome those hurdles that come your way. And by the end, I promise you'll be a stronger developer for it. And once you're done, you can also come back and check with me where I'm going to go through a version of the solution. Pause the video now and give that a go. The first thing we have to do is figure out how we can actually detect that long press. Now, luckily for us, the list tile actually has a property called onLongPress, which, as it suggests, will trigger a callback when it detects a long press, so a couple of seconds. Now, we can use exactly the same thing that we did with the checkbox callback. We can create a new final function called long press callback, and we're also going to initialize it inside the constructor, so right here, and we're going to pass it over to the onLongPress. So when the list tile detects a long press, it's going to trigger the callback, and the callback is going to come from the parent of the task tile, which is of course our task list, where our consumer exists and where we do all of the updating to our provided task data. So in addition to our checkbox callback, I'm now also going to add a long press callback. And in this case, what I'm going to trigger is simply a call to a delete method in our task data. So I'm going to create another method called delete task, and I'm going to pass over the task that needs to be deleted. And then I'm going to tap into my list of tasks, and I'm going to call the remove method. And I'm going to remove a particular object, which is going to be the task that the user wanted to delete, which is passed in right here. And of course, I also need to notify all my listeners so that they can update as needed. Now, if I hit save over here and I go to my task list inside my long press callback, so when somebody long presses on my task tile, what I want to happen is I want to tap into my task data, call that method delete task, and pass in that task, which is the current task in the task tile. So that's all I need to do. And if I hit save and head over to my Todoist app and simply press and hold, then you'll see that my items will get deleted. And it doesn't matter if it's completed or not completed, doesn't matter if it's higher up in the list, it all just works. And it also updates right here where I'm listening for the number of tasks in my task list. So that's it. That's all we needed to do to build our Todoist app, which allows us to add tasks, check off tasks, and delete tasks. So brilliant. We've managed to use Provider to manage the state of our tasks, and we've managed to learn about a number of new things such as the list view builder or lifting state up, and understand exactly what state management is anyways. Have a play around with the code and try and see if you can make some small tweaks or try to extend the app so that you get more practice using state management with the Provider package. I hope you've had fun building this app with me, and be sure to complete the questionnaire where you can vote for the next topic you want to see in the course. And if there's enough students who are interested in it, then I will build it. So that's all from me for now, and I'll see you on the next course that you take.